right now.
Okay. Yeah, I think that Ja didn't really do anything wrong. He's fine.
That was your whole takeaway of it.
Well, I'm glad he's back, and now we're moving on to the playoffs, and we're looking like a strong team. At least he didn't like Miles Bridges or or something.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. Um, well, I guess yeah. My opinion about the whole thing was, it was just really disappointing. Just to see John that light. Just be involved in all these situations, and I'll first say that like I definitely don't think that Ja is like a terrible person like at all. I think that he's involved in he's got the wrong group of guys around him. I think that's kind of apparent. In that Pacer situation, he had like one of his friends that got kicked out, right? And that was like where the whole beef or whatever started. And um, so yeah, I just think Ja's running with the wrong crowd, wrong group of guys, and he has been making some terrible mistakes, like the whole thing about having a kid over at his house and, like punching him and then like running inside and like grabbing a gun. That was like over the summer. The report didn't surface, or I guess it like resurfaced in like, like a month or two ago, but it like happened in the summer. And yeah, it was like honestly like tough for like me personally because like I'm I'm known as like the Grizzlies fan or like the Memphis guy here. And so like whether it's like my roommates or like just anybody here that like knows I'm a Grizzlies fan, there's like, oh, what's with your boy Ja? Go get your boy Ja.
Yeah.
Like if I'm responsible for John Morant's actions, and it just pissed me off so much.
Yeah.
Just like having people saying like, "Oh, look, a casual average Memphis person shooting people or whatever," and it made me so mad. Just having to like deal with that because like it sucks. Because yeah, I mean, like there's no denying it. Memphis is like it's got a real crime issue, and it's been very apparent. The past like year and a half, and to have like our superstar supposed to be like the face of the city. Um, you know, I don't know. I don't know if like being a part of the problem. I don't think he's not like committing crimes per se, but um, I don't know. Just to be in that light, it was just frustrating and disappointing. And honestly, guys, like I kind of thought, after that Denver, so I'll put it up this way: it was the Denver loss. We were on the road, that West Coast trip. We lost in Denver. Um, I think it was in overtime too. It was like the game just slipped away from us there in the fourth quarter. I don't know if it went in overtime, but like the game slipped away from us. Brandon Clark tore his Achilles in that game, and it was tough because like I think y'all texted, and I was like, I think he's hurt. Like I think he's hurt, because he had to have like it just looked like an Achilles injury, honestly, and it turns out that it was. And then the next day, you wake up and see all the reports. Josh showed a gun. I think I'm glad that like he went and got the help that he needed. Um, but I think it happened so quick. Honestly, like to just say, I went for like 10 days down to like Florida and now I'm better. That's kind of like what it was coming off as. And then like I know he kind of revised it when he like was back in Memphis and spoke to the media and said it's an ongoing process. And I kind of like that answer a little bit more. But
Yeah.
honestly, like I know like Jay Williams or whatever on like First Take said that he should have been suspended for the rest of the season without pay, or whatever. Um, I mean, like me, I wouldn't. I mean, I would understand like if that was the case. I would hate it. and I'd be like depressed as a Grizzlies fan, and I don't know if I'd ever recover from, especially from like the Tigers, because like the Tigers just had like the biggest what if in the tournament. And now that would be like the same thing for the Grizzlies. It would just be like this biggest what if. But honestly, like I don't know if I could like have a problem with it. That's not the case. And Jaw's back, and I'm glad to see him like in good spirits. And it's I think it's just kind of like where we, now we've seen him say that it's gonna be an ongoing process, and he's gonna be working on himself, and now it's just time to see it. Um, and I hope that he's serious. I'm still a little skeptical, if I'm being honest, but I'm hoping for the best for him. I hope he's because and honestly, like I felt just kind of bad for him because it did like truly sound like he was just in a terrible space mentally, and I hate that for him. Like I just felt so sad and sorry for him, like just to know that like our superstar would be in that type of space mentally, and I couldn't imagine like carrying the burden of like supporting family or whatever. And I don't know. I hope he's doing all right, and I hope he's now on the right path.
Yep. And it just like you said, everything happened so fast. Like we saw the Grizzlies season flash before our eyes, like almost like Brandon Clark being out. We can get into this for a little bit if you want. Like that is such a big loss for the Grizzlies beyond belief. Like his energy he brings when he comes in, he's always the pogo stick. He's always getting these patented floaters. He's always on the boards. He's always yamming on people. Just brings so much energy and helps runs our second unit so well. And like he's always got a smile on his face. Always got. You never see him complain. You never see him get set. Like you always know what you're getting with Brandon Clark, and that really hurts for us, going forward. But the timing of that couldn't have been any worse. On top of the jaw stuff, on top of Dylan Brooks continuing to get suspensions or yeah, like
Steve.
Steve-O getting out extended even longer. It's all happened so quickly, and the Grizzlies we just felt like we're done. Like during that moment, we didn't know if Ja was coming back this season, let alone, at any point in the regular season. We don't know if Steven Adams still is coming back. We know Brandon Clark was out for the season, and Dylan Brooks is getting into more mischief. So like we were just sitting there like, well, like this is a disaster. Like
and
absolute
and
disaster.
and Brandon is going to be out for like a year, right? I mean,
Probably.
Achilles is not something, it's not like a 4 or 5, 6 months injury. It's what, like 10, 11, 12.
Yeah. That's why tonight was so good. Just to kind of
Yeah.
tie it back together. Like we needed a night like tonight to get our swag back. Like you said the other night, Caleb. Like we needed some good energy, some highlight plays. Tonight was the Luke Kennard show, like you said, on top of some, Ja alley-oop, Jaren off the backboard dunk. Like just it was good to have some good vibes and everyone laughing and smiling and just playing hard again because it's been a very tough month. And like I said, I hope that the darkest parts are past us and we can move on and really make a special run with this group.
Yeah. I mean, I think I even texted you guys like, like in the middle of all this when during the middle of Joe's suspension. And I think we did like win a game, but like we were just dead. Like the bench wasn't standing up. There wasn't the post game mobs for the interviews, and we happened to win the game, but and I don't remember which one it was, but it was just like depressing because we had no wind in our sails. We just didn't have the energy. Like we're used to having the best chemistry in the league. I'd say we've had the best chemistry in the league for 4 years, definitely three, maybe 4 years now. Um, and just to not see that, just during the middle of that, it was just so depressing. Like it was just terrible. I mean, I honestly like I was checked in and locked in on the Tigers at that point because I was just like the Tigers are my. It seems like the Grizzlies are going down, so I got to be seeing what the Tigers are doing. But yeah, it was just tough, and I think, but we're gearing up for a playoff run, and I think it's gonna be great.
Me too.
Yeah, do you guys want to, kind of go over what you think this team? I feel like every last couple of times we've met, what we think this team's capable of. I feel like it's changed multiple times throughout the season. So do you guys want to you guys could start off, where do you guys think now that we know Brandon Clark's out, now that we know Jaw's back, now we got Luke Kennard, the reemergence a little bit of David Roddy. Where do you guys see us going? What matchups maybe do you think give us the best opportunities? And what do you think is going to be what's our biggest concern going forward?
Yeah. Uh, I like a positive way of looking at it. Like I kind of think that all this hardship that we went through the past month might be seen as like a blessing in disguise. Because now like we know here's how we can play without Ja. Here's how we can play without Steve-O, which apparently we could not do when he was first injured.
Yeah.
Here's how we can play without like Brandon. And now like these other players are getting opportunities. Kennard's getting like implemented more. Morant's coming back now. But now Jaren is such a go-to player that we can use. And like Tyus has got his groove back, which is like we were saying the opposite last time we were on the AXCAST. And so now like having gone through that, you would way rather have gone through that at the end of the regular season than in going into a postseason and then losing the first round. Because now that we've gone through that, we're such a stronger team, and like, it really does hurt to not have these players like Brandon and who knows when Steven Adams is coming back. But we know that we have like such a good next man up mentality, and like we know we can win without them. Although they are amazing players, and we'd love to have them back.
Hmm.
So like having said that, I think that we can really do well in the postseason, especially now that Ja Morant's back and Jaren Jackson's in such a groove and Desmond Bane is doing great as well. So like I first and foremost like we have to beat the 7 seed, which I think like if we weren't lucky last year, would not have beaten the 7 seed. Assuming we get lock up the 2 seed. Sorry. Um, like I think we first have to beat the first round matchup, which is a lot harder than before we look on to anything else because like the Timberwolves totally could have beaten us last year had we not gotten lucky in the fourth quarter in like every game. Um, but then like beyond that, like assuming if we could beat that 7 seed, Sacramento if they can hold on to the 3 seed, I think they're playing the Suns tonight.
Yep.
They're down like 9 at halftime, I think.
Well, if Sacramento remains a 3 seed, which is like what they were looking like they are, I think they're like 5 games up on the Suns,
Which
but you can check my math.
which has been a recent development that I might add because this is one of the topics that I was going to get into. But we've been a very tight battle with the Kings, like,
Yeah.
and they took the 2 seed from us like a week ago, but we've taken it back.
Yeah, I'm like really happy to see the Kings succeed after such a long time, and I think it's great for their city, and it's like really nice, like refreshing to see someone new, and then like kind of is like nice also because it's like you don't need to be in a huge market, and you don't need to have like all these free agents come to your team to be successful. So I'm happy for the Kings, but they're not battle tested.
No.
We're not so battle tested either, but at least we've been in the playoffs. Like we were in the play-in like 3 years ago, 2 years ago, we were in
We're
first
kind of
round.
battle tested.
Yeah, so and then last year we got second round. So like
Yeah.
that's much better than the Kings are. So I think like Kings are a great team, don't get me wrong, but I think that's definitely like I think that would be I don't think it's a stretch to say that it would be easier to beat the Kings than a fully healthy Suns team who's at the 4 seed right now. And then like I don't know, I just think that this pathway is kind of shaping up like semi nicely, but like the Tigers also like didn't have to play Purdue second round, and you know how that went. So like, sorry, Caleb. But like so you always have to just take care of business. But I think that like it's kind of shaping up favorably for Memphis right now. But it
Yeah.
all depends on
Now, as
how
of
this ends.
now, we have a 2.5 game lead on the Kings, who are now losing, so it could be three. Like Caleb said, the Kings were just ahead of us like a week ago, but we're on a 5 game winning streak, and they're on a 2 game losing streak. So we've been able to flip that script and gain some
Yeah,
ground. And the
I mean,
Kings
it
have
does
a
5 game win streak.
yeah, and the Kings have a 5 game cushion against both the Suns and the Clippers, and 6 games up on the Warriors. So the Kings look like they're going to stay at three. And barring the Grizzlies, having a collapse, it looks like we're in a good spot. We'll be up 2.5 for 3 games going into tomorrow with like what 9 games left or something like that. So we're pretty much in the second seed, barring any, crazy collapses by us. But to put my perspective on it a little bit, I keep going back and forth with what I think this team is going to be capable of doing. I think it's going to be really tough if we don't get Steven Adams back at all, because in the playoffs, I mean, we saw with Kevon Looney just how important rebounding the ball is in these games. And I mean, I guess if we have Luke Kennard out there, you don't need to rebound when you're swishing it every time. But in all seriousness, that's not something to count on. And so we're gonna we're gonna need someone to be forceful. And like I said last AXCAST, Tillman's done a better job coming in and filling in and playing his role, but the sheer force and power of Steven Adams will be crucial for us in the playoffs. And but without him, I still think, I mean, we're still showing signs of being a really good team. I mean, I think without Steven Adams, I think we'll be very competitive against no matter who we play, and that could take us a far way. I do think this whole run is going to be predicated on matchups. I mean, I think Pete Pranica the other day, I was listening to some new Grizzlies podcast he has with like Eric Hasseltime and Michael Wallace and um, someone else. I think maybe Rob Fisher or someone. But they were talking about how, as of this was like a couple of days ago, they were saying there's 9 potential teams that the Grizzlies can play in the first round as of right now, which is crazy. So
Yeah.
we're not going to know who we're facing until literally like the last day of the season. Um, but for me, just looking at these teams, again, it keeps changing, so we don't know. But the only team I don't really want to play first round is the Warriors, even though I do think if they don't have Wiggins, I think we'll be able to beat them. Having home court's big, but it's just that's always scary. The Warriors, I don't want to make that our first series. It was big for us last year to have that Wolves series to be able to kind of screw up in a lot and get that experience and confidence under our belts. Jeez. Um, so I think we do need we're not going to have an easy first round matchup by any means, but it'd be nice if we could play Minnesota again. Right now, they're the 7th seed. If we could play the Timberwolves or maybe the Zionless Pelicans, or I think we could beat the Lakers or Thunder for sure, easily, pretty handedly. I'm not really scared of the Clippers either. Um,
Isn't Paul George out?
yeah, George out. I don't know if he's out for the season officially, but he's out for at least a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So I mean, the way we're playing, all these teams are beatable for sure. Like a lot of them. The only
Where's
team
Dallas?
Dallas has fallen out of the play-in as of
they're
right now.
11 as of right now because they've lost
Oh,
3 in a
really?
row. Yeah.
Yeah. They're 13 and a half back as of this recording.
But they're only a half game out of 8th place, and they're in 13th.
Oh,
So that's how close it is. Like the bottom of the West right now is just a absolute war zone.
It's insane.
yeah.
But I
I
mean,
feel go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I don't think there's like a team that scares me other than the Warriors per se. Like, and even them, they have their flaws without Wiggins. Like I am scared about, I mean, some of their role players they've had. They get Gary Payton back. Dante DiVincenzo's been playing good for them. Jordan Poole's been spotty. But I mean, just Clay and Steph and Draymond, they're just always a force to be reckoned with, and it's always scary. So I would prefer to just not play them immediately. Like I said, if we could squeak out playing like the Timberwolves somehow, if we could play like the Thunder if they make it, or like the Lakers, I'm not scared of them. Mavericks, I'm not really scared of them, but it's Luka and Kyrie at the end of the day. So that could always be interesting, but that's why it's just so important that we have home court advantage. I think that's going to be huge for us because we've been the best home team in the league. Our home record is the best in the league. And, but just going into our roster, I think like a lot of my concerns have been eased. Like I do think our half court offense has gotten better, and I do think it will be better than it was in the past playoff series. I think if we can, I think it's going to come up to Jenkins being a little creative with some of the lineups he implements down the stretch in these games. Maybe not just throwing your starting five out there just to have your starters out there, but maybe I liked what he's been doing with Kennard in some of those situations. Like he won us I forgot what game it was. I think the Spurs game where we were down 29. It was like a blowout. We were down like 16 with a couple minutes left, and he brings in Luke Kennard for shooting. Luke Kennard hits like two or three threes, and all of a sudden it's tied and we're going to overtime. So I do like some of those ideas of maybe I know we bring in Tyus a lot of the time, even when Jaw's starting in late game situations. So just bringing many guys on the court as possible that can make shots at the end of the day. Because we know what teams like to do against Jaw in the clutch. They blitz, they blitz, they blitz, and then they always face guard Bane. And so the Grizzlies' problem has been, all right, there's three other players on the court who are going to have open shots. Do you trust Dylan Brooks to make a shot? No. Is Jaren Jackson able to make a shot? Sometimes it's not really reliable per se. He can make a three occasionally, and for him, it's just being on the court. And then from there, it's been Steven Adams, so he's not a shooter. So that's why it's important to have Luke Kennard on our team. If we could bring him in some situations to have that extra threat to maybe make a shot or just spread out the defense enough to give Ja and Bane more wiggle room in the paint, or like Tyus Jones, bringing him in to shoot. So I do think I'm more confident in our ability to score in the half court. And I think our defense has been playing good enough. My preseason prediction was us. I think we're good enough to win the finals. I still think that we're good enough to win the finals. Um, I think it's going to be tough to do it. I think it's going to be very difficult. I mean, that's pretty cliche. It is very hard to win the finals, but I think I don't think we can do it without Steven Adams. But this team has to prove to me that they can get over that hump, take out the Warriors, and get to the Western Conference Finals. And I think just beating the Warriors whenever we face them would just give our team so much confidence that we could feel like we could beat anyone. I think that's just like they are such our enemies, and we put so much heart and soul and effort into trying to beat them, and it's such a big deal to us that like I think if we could beat them, then I feel confident that our guys would, could handle business against like the Bucks or the Celtics. But I don't know. I keep going back and forth about it. I think we're gonna make the Western Conference Finals this year. I can't confidently say we can make it to the finals, but we'll have to see how Steven Adams plays out in his injury. But I do feel more confident right now in our team than I did before the deadline. That's for sure.
1000%. I was thinking that honestly, like, when we were at the lowest of lows, like I was talking about, after that Denver game, I was like, I don't know, this is looking like a first round exit, if I'm being completely honest. Like when I was at the lowest of lows, I was thinking, I don't even know. I don't even know if we could pass the first round. But now, I mean, and to put this in perspective, we did just blow out the Rockets by 40 points. So there is a little bit of that going into this, but Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I think it's almost solely dependent on Steven Adams at this point because I do have PTSD about the 22 rebounds that Kevon Looney pulled down against us in game 6 last year. And then like I think Wiggins had like 11 or 12 as well, and Draymond had like something, and he had double digit rebounds as well. And we just got killed on the glass because
Yeah.
Steve-O wasn't there. That was the difference. That was the difference. It was a close game despite getting killed on the glass. And so, yeah, I think it's almost solely dependent on how Steve-O plays. And I'll say that, and I'm honestly not even like too confident in this whole Steve-O injury thing. For some context, he was supposed to come back, I think like 2 weeks ago, 15 days ago. And they're, how our front office is. They keep injuries hush hush. They don't give the media any sort of information about injuries. But it sounds like he re-aggravated it, um, which really sucks because now he's doing what, stem cell treatment. And when you hear that, that's never great news. You're never thinking, you know, that this is going to be a quick turnaround. And he's going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks, after the end of the regular season. And I think we're good enough to get by in the first round without Steven Adams. Again, depending on the, what'd you say, Eric, 9 teams that were mathematically
Sure.
eligible to play right now. I think we should be good enough to beat whoever we face in that first round, without Steven Adams. But depending on who we draw in that second round, um, I think it's going to be a tough, tough, tough battle without Steven Adams' rebounding. Um, I think it's still possible that we could win that, depending on who we play. I'll tell you this: I'm really scared about a healthy Suns team, because we're yet to really see. I mean, Kevin Durant played what, 2 or 3 games in a Suns jersey, and then sprained his ankle in warmups. Which,
Yeah.
by the way, who saw this coming?
Yeah.
Everybody,
Shocker.
everybody. Yeah, shocker, shocker. Kevin Durant, CP3. Nothing can go wrong here injury wise. Um, but so I would be very, 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 very nervous about a healthy Suns team because Kevin Durant is that dude, and when he's healthy, he's one of the best players in the world. There's no, if you're just going down the list, you're going, we're doing a guy off in the words of part of my take, Kevin Durant or John Morant in the playoffs. The way KD's been playing, I think you got to take Kevin Durant. We know he's capable. It's close, but we've seen. Kevin Durant. We're talking about a 2-time Finals MVP here,
And they got Devin Booker still.
and they got Devin Booker. And I think you're taking Devin Booker over Jaren, right? And CP3 or Bane. I think you're taking Bane now at this point, but you know, regardless, I'd be scared about a healthy Suns team. I'd be scared about the Warriors just because it's the Warriors, and they've beaten us in the playoffs last year, and even back in the grit and grind days with this same squad, they beat us in the playoffs. And Denver obviously too. I'd be scared about them.
I agree with those except Denver. For some reason, I don't feel bad about Denver. I don't.
We can't. Here's my thing, and this is actually the last point that I really want to talk about with the playoffs. We're a terrible road team. We are a terrible road team. Where I just looked at it, we're 14-22. 14-22 on the road. That's not just like below 500. That's significantly below 500. That's several games below 500 on the road.
But I've got a stat to show you too in a minute.
Okay. We've got the best road record in the league, which you pointed out, Eric, which is great. But you can't win a playoff series if you can't win road games. I guess if you have home court advantage, you can go, win 7. But you've got to be able to travel. And I'm nervous. I'm really, really nervous about that regarding this Grizzlies team. That's why I'm putting I say we can get to the Western Conference Finals, and I think we can win it. Now I will say that I'll say this: I don't think we can win a Western Conference Finals without Steven Adams. I don't. I don't think we can. I think we would get out rebounded too much. We'd have to have somebody really step up. You know how it is in the playoffs, guys. Like the game just slows down. It becomes a half court type of game, and we're really just going to need that rebounding. I don't see that being successful without Steven Adams playing for the Grizzlies. And but if we were to somehow win that, I don't even know. I don't really watch the Celtics or the Bucks unless they're playing the Grizzlies, so I really couldn't tell you that much about them. I mean, like obviously I know their roster, but like as far as their day to day, I couldn't really give you a good finals analysis on that. But I'd say I'm confident that we can make it to the second round. I'm confident that we can win the second round, and I'm kind of unsure in that Western Conference Finals how that would shake out from there.
Yeah, real quick. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Just because that road record, yeah.
Yeah. So I pulled up the Western Conference road records. The Golden State Warriors are 9-29. The Phoenix Suns are 15-22. The Grizzlies are 14-22. And then the Nuggets and the Clippers are 19-18. So basically 500. The only team that is like good on the road is the Kings. They're 22-14, and I'm not worried about them in the playoffs because of their
They're
inexperience.
just happy to be out of Sacramento.
That's
What?
a good
They're just happy to be out of Sacramento. Poor guy.
Yeah.
Come on, man. That's me.
But look, like a lot of these
Sad.
teams, like yes, we've struggled on the road. That's a problem. I think part of it has been, as we saw with John Denver, a lot of the extracurricular activities that go on when you go on a road trip in some of these cities. Hopefully that gets fixed. You know, that story that came out about Steven Adams who sat down the team. That's good leadership. That's what we need. We need someone that's going to get these young guys in check. And I feel like in the playoffs, we're not going to be doing any of that crap. We want to win. We're competitive. And I think I'm not really worried about that per se, considering the rest of the West isn't very impressive either on the road. But in the regular season, yes, that's been a major problem.
Yeah, I forgot that. I did want to bring up that, the whole meeting, Steve-O basically calling out Ja about partying on the road. And hopefully, as we were talking about earlier, hopefully this is kind of behind Ja and maybe he can lock in and that trickles down to the entire team where we can kind of lock in when we're on the road. And maybe that just leads to a better record because we haven't been this bad on the road in previous years.
Yeah, last year we were really good, and I'm disappointed y'all brought up the extracurricular stuff because that was actually my next point. Kind of stole it from me, but I'm sure like in the playoffs, nobody's gonna be going out and doing all this nonsense.
Yeah.
They want to win the playoffs for sure. And then also, I was just looking at the standings, and to me, Caleb, sounds like your dream scenario would be if the Warriors can hop the LA Clippers for the 5 seed. Because then the Clippers and the Suns, the Warriors and the Suns are playing each other for the first round. And then the winner of that would play the Nuggets. And then that's like 2 of the teams you're scared of right there.
Yes. Which,
So,
yeah. If one of y'all has the standings pulled up, we should just go ahead and run through like just how congested the Western Conference is right now.
Yeah, I'll pull it up. I can screen share it.
I mean, it's just crazy, like the amount of just how close everybody is. I mean, it's usually close in like a position or two.
You guys see this?
Yeah. So we've got here Grizzlies. Obviously, Nuggets number 1, Grizzlies 3 games behind, Kings 5.5 behind. Then starts Suns 10.5 behind, Clippers 10.5 behind, Warriors 11.5 behind, Timberwolves 12.5 behind, Lakers 13, Pelicans 13, Thunder 13, Mavericks 13.5, Jazz 13.5.
Crazy.
I mean, that's That's just crazy. That's what, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 teams all within 3 games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Huh.
it's
That's
nuts.
crazy. That's crazy. So, yeah, I mean, you really don't
Hey,
even know what to
this looked
expect.
completely different yesterday. Like yesterday, the Mavericks were like 7 or something, and the Warriors were 9, and the Clippers were not 5. Like this changes every day. It's nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, we're getting at the point now where you wake up in the morning and you check the Western Conference standings and see where they moved. Thankfully, though, like we were talking about, we were in that battle with the Kings, and it seems like we've got some separation from them now. I've been keeping up with the Kings like this whole week, being like, can they catch an L here? And they have lately.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want to say also before going to get it in on the record that I think Timberwolves might be sneakily better than they were last year because they have Mike Conley now instead of D'Angelo Russell. Kind of fits the team a little better.
Hold up, but spin zone now that they have Rudy Gobert, and he's trash.
I guess you're right, but it's better than like who do they have before Jared Vanderbilt? That's
And they have slow mo.
they have slow mo, yes,
Dude, that
and
traitor.
they have the experience of losing to us, so they're gonna be like mad because we
But they
always make
don't.
everyone who loses to us hate us.
They don't have annoying Pat Bev though.
That's true.
I think Pat Bev, like, I don't like Pat Bev, like, he's just annoying. He's basically Dylan Brooks, but
No,
man can lead a locker room. He can turn around a locker room. Exhibit A was that
But
Timberwolves team.
I'm not worried about the Timberwolves. I think we either sweep or gentlemen sweep them, with all due respect, as Mark Jackson would say.
But we were saying the same thing this time last year.
That's fair,
yeah,
but they were hot. They were hot as can be coming into that part of the year, coming off of their NBA Finals like play and win.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
They've got on this
Pat Bev take off his jersey, throwing it on the score too.
yeah. But like if we get down 10 points in like the final 5 minutes of fourth quarter in a series against them, I think that we're toast this time for real. Probably we're not going to be able to come back from that again.
But guys, what really has been the focal point is these last two columns over there. You know, the win streak. That's the NBA best 5 game win streak, and then the one to the left of that, eight
Best.
8-2 in the last 10. So
Yeah, we're
we're
I did not know
finding our
that.
stride a little bit.
and okay, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it.
The amount of stress this team has put us through this year, between the 11-game win streak being at the highest of highs, and then like we lost what, like 7 in a row after that or something crazy. After winning 11 straight, we lost like 7 straight, and then we were kind
We
of,
lost 10 of 11.
jeez,
I think is what it was. 10 of 11 we lost.
yeah. And
So we
then
kind of get the better of that trade-off. Think about it. Like barely.
I know the math works out, but I don't care.
I do like Luke's point earlier. Like I do think we've had a lot of dark moments this season, a lot of adversity, but that's only going to help us. Like I'd rather have a lot of this. At the end of the day, we're the 2 seed. Like, come
Yeah.
on. Like we've been through a lot of stuff. We've had a lot of dark moments. We've had a lot of questionable decisions, a lot of head scratching losses and whatnot, injuries. But we're the 2 seed. And like I said, we're better than we were at the beginning of the season. And we've got John Morant. We've got a all-time level of Jaren Jackson Jr. We got Desmond Bain, and we've got Lookahead. So I'm excited to see where this goes.
I just want to shout out Jaron. Should win defense player of the year. I think Brooke Lopez is getting some buzz for that, but man, if it's not Jaron, I'm gonna be so mad. I'm gonna start a riot.
Yeah, for sure.
Like Darko Rajakovic was promoting Taylor Jenkins for Coach of the Year. And I think like he's got a good argument this year, but he totally should have won it last year.
Yeah, I'm still mad. Like I'm still mad. It still makes me so mad that he didn't win it
It
last
just
year.
doesn't make sense for him to have lost last year at all.
No, no.
These voters
You
don't know what
just
they're doing.
lost to Luke Kennard.
The Nard Dog.
You just lost to the Nard Dog. Dude, I don't care. $64 million. You just got manhandled.
But that's for Trey Man. That's not.
You just lost to Spooky Lookie. Make sure.
Got some creepy eyes.
We love these Duke guys, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're good. We need Grayson Allen back.
Dude, I love Grayson Allen.
Dude, imagine, like, I think Vince Williams could be good.
Dude, he's got a shot. Like he's raw, but like give him time.
Yeah.
That's
Another
all.
shooter?
I want to see
Uh,
Grayson Allen went off tonight, apparently.
Oh, did he?
I want to check that out.
what's what was I gonna say?
5 for 9 from three, Grayson Allen, 18. It's pretty good. Not Luke Kennard standards, but pretty good.
What's
Whose schedule is this? Grizzlies?
what's Jaren up to in blocks? Is he still at 3? He was at 3.3. It was like it was insane.
His
So I
blocks
guess
per
he's
game.
been, like, going off. Kings are now winning 10 points.
Oh, they're winning now?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Dang, we're down to third in oh no, that's box per game. Never mind. Okay, Jaren is still first in box per game. Not
And
not surprising. They still got a half a block lead on Brooke Lopez and Nick Claxton, who averaged 2.5. Jaren averages 3. So that's good.
I mean, I pulled up this
Um,
remaining schedule right here. We go to at Atlanta Sunday. I mean, that's pretty winnable. Then we're at home. Hmm?
the Hawks, that's a winnable game, right? I haven't been
Yeah.
keeping up with Atlanta.
yeah, me neither.
They're mid, as mid could be.
Hawks are 8th in the East.
They fired their head coach, right?
500.
Yeah. And then we got Orlando at home, 2 Clipper games at
Clippers.
home, which will be
Those
kind
will
of
be big.
interesting. Yeah.
Back to back from Magic to Orlando. 3 games in 4.
Then we got the Bulls away, winnable. Blazers dumpster fire recently,
Back to
winnable.
back.
And then we got New Orleans away, which I'm sure that'll mean something to the Pelicans. Then we got at Milwaukee, which I doubt that'll be like a full strength game on either side, and then at Thunder, which I guess they'll probably be trying hard. So I
Well,
mean,
we mentioned last time that the Bucks are going to want to get us back for the last time we played them, right?
that's true.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
But it
Hopefully
could
it's like
just-
season mode.
Let's see with the Eastern Conference standings. I don't even know if they would.
I think they're first right now.
They're first by 2 games, so it kind of depends on how these next week or so goes and whether or not they'll have a full roster or they'll just sit guys against us. But a lot could happen between now and then, so we can't really predict what's going to happen then.
Do you want to pull up the
9-1 in the last 10.
Pull up the what?
the Nuggets schedule?
Yep. So they play versus Milwaukee tomorrow. Then they play the 76ers, the Pelicans, at Phoenix versus the Warriors, at the Rockets, at the Suns, at the Jazz versus the Kings. So that's not easy.
I don't like that.
I mean, that's what I say. I wasn't going to mention it earlier.
Only 3 games back.
I don't want to mention it.
Not so.
I don't want to mention it, but hey, But hey,
Yeah, but then that means we're gonna have to play the Suns in the second round.
We
So
don't
the
know
Suns,
that. We don't.
what?
we don't know that, but
We don't know that.
yeah, we
Yeah,
can't be counting our
honestly,
chickens before they hatch.
yeah, honestly, it really is not even gonna make that big of a difference. I don't think, just because of how congested it is. Which is, can we just talk about briefly, like how beautiful it is that the Mavericks suck? Like it makes my heart so happy to
Dude, they're
see.
gonna win like 2 games and be the 6th seed.
It's, but I know,
Guys,
but like they suck.
I
guys.
I think they scare me less this year than they did last year.
Yeah, they do.
A lot
Still
less. Not
scare
even
me.
close. They don't have Brunson.
They still scare me.
They, I mean, Reggie Bullock, okay. Maxi Kleba, okay.
Look at Doncic.
They
Yes, they've got
sacrificed.
Luka.
They
They've got Luka.
sacrificed their entire bench for 2 months of Kyrie, bro.
Half of their bench, like, is working at the YMCA after hours. Like,
Facts. Facts. I love that Kyrie trade. I was like, they're getting 2 months of Kyrie. He's probably gonna walk in free agency, and you just trade away all your best bench players. Like, I
yeah.
honestly
Didn't like
love it
they
for the
want all
Grizzlies.
the nonsense that comes with Kyrie Irving.
No.
And they lost again tonight against the Hornets after trying to protest their last loss against the Warriors. So,
Oh, they lost tonight?
yeah, they lost to the Hornets.
Wow.
No way.
Is that updated right now?
I think so.
So now we can officially raise the Southwest Division champs flag or Southeast. What I don't even know our division.
Southwest.
Did we clinch
Southwest. Yeah.
top 6 or top 10? We clinched top 6, right?
I think,
Right now we've just
yeah,
clinched the
we
playoffs.
clinched top six. So that, yeah, I think they changed it to now, like, it used to be top eight, but now we
Yeah.
clinched the playoffs. So I think that's top six.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because if you got 7, you could still lose.
Because
both
we're
games.
8.5 games removed from the sixth seed, and we're 9.5 removed from the seventh seed, and there's what, 9 games left?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're
Yeah.
Okay.
we're good.
So yeah, we're not gonna finish with more wins than last season, though, are we?
How many wins did we have?
We had 53, right?
We could finish with more wins than that.
53 last season. It's either 53 or 56.
There's 9 games left, so if we win them all out, we're at 55. If we go 9-0, we're 55 wins.
Yeah.
I mean, but
But I mean, I think we'll probably go like 6-3. Probably is a reasonable guess. That'll put us at 53-30. Or no, wait, no, 52-30. Sorry, long day.
Yeah. Last year we won 56 games.
56. Yeah.
I think we'll win 52 or something.
Yeah, 56. So yeah, we can't win. Golly, the Suns won 64 games that year.
And then lost to Luka Doncic.
It's crazy.
I was looking at like the best home records of all time, and the Spurs in their dynasty went 40-1 one year at home. That's nuts.
Wow.
Who was the one loss?
I don't know. I did not look that up.
Probably
Maybe I should look that up.
Spurs. That's crazy.
You said this season.
Golly, my brackets not looking good.
Dude, one of my brackets is not so bad. The Kansas State one is.
Your Marquette one?
No, Marquette one's bad. Kansas State's still in the running.
Dude, yours is number 2 in our group.
Is that right? I think Creighton, I had them in the Elite Eight, so that really helped me.
I'm tied for 4th.
I guess
And
y'all all missed the no number 1 seeds making it to the Elite Eight.
that's crazy. Yeah, no number 1 seeds.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I had Creighton. But
Dude,
I had, yeah.
Luke, I think when the Tigers lost, that was the worst pain that I had felt since Derrick Henry broke his foot in 2021.
Yeah, that was the worst. I think like that was since then the Titans have just never been the same,
No.
and they probably will never be able to go back to that without like rebuilding. Which I think
Oh,
they
we're
will.
definitely rebuilding now.
Yeah. Do do you want to like do you have any opinions on like trading up for a quarterback or like just drafting a quarterback?
I think it's just crazy that I guess Malik Willis sucks that bad that we brought in Josh Dobbs.
Yeah.
Golly, I guess he sucks that bad. But
Yeah, like he could be good, maybe. You just gotta give him some time.
I was willing to give him some more time, but I guess the front office really isn't that confident in him. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Let it ride with Tannehill for another season, I guess, but I'm not expecting anything.
Yeah, this is gonna be our last one. It seemed like so long that we've had him.
Caleb, was there any other topics you had written down that we didn't cover?
Uh, Let me see. Josh suspension, Kennard going crazy. King Kleiman strikes again. BC injury, Steve O injury, next man out mentality. Jaron Depoy season, plus playing the best offense of his career and helping in the rebounding issue of in Steve O's absence. Dylan talking crazy in 18 techs. Warriors rivalry and battle in the standings with the Kings. Those are the only things I had written down. Um,
Yeah, we covered it. This was a good,
you guys
extensive AXCAST, much needed. It's funny that like last time we were on AXCAST, we were just like, yeah, we'll just have one more right before the season ends, just to kind of give an update on, how things went, and then just we would have never guessed what happened to this franchise in the
every
month between our last AXCAST. It's unreal.
every single
Yeah.
negative storyline. And now it's like it was so bad and now it's trending up a little bit. Like, yeah. Like as soon as we got off that the next game, all the all the news broke. But
I guess the
yeah,
last thing I'll say is like it's going to be big for if we could we need to be able to beat the Hawks on the road. Like if we could like beat the Hawks and beat the Bulls on the road. I don't know about the rest of these just because of like if those will end up mattering the last three, but we need to be able to take care of business against those two teams on the road. That
yeah,
will bring a lot more confidence to me heading into the playoffs if we could just lock in and take care of business on the road for once.
I agree. I agree. Because like I said, I think it's my gauge about how well we can do come playoff time is almost it's really the two biggest things are the road record and Steve-O.
Yeah.
So hopefully hopefully we can set that right. Take care of Atlanta on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did y'all have anything else you wanted to add?
I think that's it. We just gotta run it back once we end of the season, once we know who we're playing, maybe give a little playoff preview, series preview.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Then when do the playoffs start? April, right? Second, third week of April?
Yeah, I think I saw like a ESPN advertisement for the play-in like pretty soon. Like the last regular season game for us is April 9th. So I have like April 15th stuck in my head for some reason. Maybe that's when the play-in starts, or maybe I'm just making that up. But
Play-in tournament will begin Tuesday, April 11th, and conclude
uh,
Friday, April 14th. So I guess the 15th is when the playoffs start.
playoffs. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's coming
playoffs
up.
start the 15th. So according to NBA.com, oh, I guess it doesn't tell us. But yeah, so we'll look at 15th or the 16th is when the Grizz playoffs will start. I'm just thinking like timeline here when maybe you could catch a game, playoff basketball. Man, I think it's gonna have to be a second round game again because yeah, classes don't get done for me until the 4th of May. So
I get back like the very end of April, I think. I think that last week are my final exams, and I'll be in Memphis for all of May. So should be able to catch at least one playoff game, hopefully a couple.
Yeah. I'll probably sell my car to go to a Grizzlies game, playoff game. So
Dude, if we make the finals,
yeah, I'd
I'll sell everything.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'll start selling some things, getting some finals.
Yeah.
1,000%. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, guys, it was a great AXCAST.
For sure.
Catching up with you guys.
Yeah.
That's signing off for now. This is Caleb here with Luke and Eric. This has been the AXCAST. Cool.